morning, Nigeria. Good morning, 042, and a happy new year to everyone watching today. You're tuned into Sunrise on ANEKE TV, where every sunrise begins with delightfulness, joy, purpose, and of course that special sunrise spirit to help us on our day. And also bringing you today's sunrise, I am Deborah Wakuba, coming to you live from our studio here in Vibrant Inoko.
And good morning and happy new year to you, our global audience. I'm Uche Osai. Wherever you are, celebrating the new year, wherever you're making merry, thank you for letting us into your space this beautiful morning. We're here to refresh, inform, and motivate.
Yes, and it's Thursday, 1st of January 2026, and we have finally entered into the new year, which is 2026. And of course, we've got you that full package today, where we've got our latest stories, what's trending, our sports update, our business update, and also that special sunrise spirit to help us start our day.
So, grab that cup of coffee or tea, even chin chin or some fried meat. Just relax, because the sunrise is here.
Yes, and coming up shortly, we'll be kicking things off with our quote of the day. With what's that inspiring, what's that thoughtful, and what's that offer insight to whatever we do, and also to help us stay focused, stay well driven, and also be motivated.
Then, it's straight into the day's top headlines. All the key news updates that you need to remain informed will be shared, hot and tasty.
Yes, and after that, we'll be giving you a full weather report for today, covering cities across the southeast and beyond, so you would know what to expect before you step out. Or if you've stepped out already, it is to help you throughout the rest of your day.
And let us wrap things up with some fun global holidays updates. What's smiling about?
Alright, now let's move over to our morning show inspiration segment. Today's quote is coming from JP Morgan, and in his quote he says, "The first steps towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are." I'm going to take that quote again, coming from JP Morgan, that says, "The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are." Now he's also JP Morgan in his quote is trying to tell us that the first step towards getting somewhere is actually not deciding in your mind that you're not going to stay stagnant in that position. You're not going to remain that place where you are, but rather you're going to move forward. You're going to try everything in order to push through, in order to bring better, you get a better self in whatever you do. That is what JP Morgan's quote is telling us today.
All right, and it's a new year, and JP Morgan is telling us that it's time to make that decision where we take that conscious effort to make move, not be stagnant in life. You know, that is a decision to move forward.
Yeah.
So you have to decide today to begin to make that move. Where you were last year shouldn't determine where you want to be in this year. It doesn't matter if you were successful in the previous year, but make that conscious decision now. And that said, it determines where you will be in 2025. So it's all about that conscious decision that you will not be stagnant. You will not remain where you are, but the conscious efforts to keep moving, to keep going at it. It doesn't matter if it becomes difficult at the first take. But today, being the 1st of January 2026, make that conscious decision that no day will meet you at the same spot.
Yeah.
That you keep making progress, irrespective of the challenges that the year may throw at you. Bearing that in mind and taking a cue from JP Morgan, who himself is very successful, is worthy of being listened to. That will guide you going into the year proper. And when you take stock, you will see that each day, emanating from that decision that you've made not to be stagnant, that decision will take you to success.
Yeah, right. Thank you very much for that. Also, you've almost said it all. JP Morgan's quote that says, "The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you're not going to stay where you are, even if at the end of the day you've achieved that that thing you've been working towards to." It's also saying that you should also try to think outside, think differently from what you've achieved in order to move forward and think of another step, because step by step, if you start from 1 you get to 2, and don't stay in that particular spot or stay in that comfort zone, but instead think ahead of what you're going to do next and not just remain in that particular sport. And also, while we're doing so, let us remember that each new sunrise is a platform for us to grow. It's an opportunity for us to try something new or simply be more present in whatever we do. And also let us know what this quote means to you. You can drop your thoughts across our social media platforms, across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, or ANEKE TV, or call our phone number 070-304-37110. And we'll be right back after the break.
ANEKE television. How I get one with the father and I am what you go ma. How Mbo Wabian here, Bube, Emel, Mbo Wabatawan here, Bube, Emel. ANEKE television on the Melo, Yamela Madia, in our uncle, in America, Putanwa, in our Hozu, in our Uncle, the one ANEKE television, the Arcades, your man, the one ANEKE television, you do man, help the Melo, Yamela Madia, who me, Bodia, Nanka, Bunkai. You might have a girl, if you want to come over, you never had you were what
Welcome back. You're still watching Sunrise on ANEKE TV, and now is our weather update.
Yes, let's take a look at the weather reports across major cities in the southeast today. At least that will help you to celebrate the new year proper.
All right, now we'll be starting off with Awka. Good morning, Awka. Today starts cozy and cloudy around the low 20 degrees Celsius and gradually warming up today. Expect clouds in the morning turning into hazy sunshine by the afternoon, heating us up into the low 30 degrees Celsius before dipping into comfy evening temperatures. So it's a classic dry January day with plenty of sun peeking through those clouds.
And good morning, the coast city. Welcome to Enugu. Enugu is kicking off with mostly cloudy skies early, but don't be surprised if the sun starts peeking out and turning things toasty by midday. Temperatures will rise towards the mid 30 degrees Celsius, so dress light and bring those shades. Later this evening, it will cozy back down under partly cloudy skies.
And in Abakaliki, good morning Abakaliki, clouds and a bit of sunshine will set the tone this morning. As we move into the afternoon, expect the sun to haze through the sun and turn up the warmth, flirting with the mid 30 degrees Celsius before settling into a warm night, perfect for a breezy walk before sunset.
Good morning, Imo State, and over to Owerri, friends. It's cloudy early on, but by midday, sunshine will start to break through, heating up into the low to mid 30 degrees Celsius. A touch humid but still classic dry season weather. Great for outdoor plants with light layers and lots of water.
And in Umahia greets you with cloudy skies early, but like her neighbors, the day will warm up with hazy sunshine in the afternoon, reaching the mid 30 degrees before a relaxing evening. A great day to start the year strong, just mind the heat around lunchtime.
So, wherever you are celebrating the new year in the southeast today, stay safe, dress light, stay cool, but do remember that either rain or shine, we've got you covered. And this is your weather report here on Sunrise on ANEKE TV. We'll go on a short break and we'll return with more news updates.
ANEKE television. How I get one with the father and I am what you go ma. How Mbo Wabian here, Bube, Emel, Mbo Wabatawan here, Bube, Emel. ANEKE television on the Melo, Yamela Madia, in our uncle, in America, Putanwa, in our Hozu, in our Uncle, the one ANEKE television, the Arcades, your man, the one ANEKE television, you do man, help the Melo, Yamela Madia, who me, Bodia, Nanka, Bunkai. You might have a girl, if you want to come over, you never had you were what ANEKE television.
still watching Sunrise on ANEKE TV. Now we'll be taking a look at the newspapers for today, starting from The Nation, Punch, Vanguard, and The Guardian newspaper.
And joining us this morning is the one man with many parts, Mr. Good Hope, the sports oracle himself and the commissioner for enjoyment. It's good to have you this morning.
Thank you very much. It's good to have you too. Happy New Year.
And I hope there's a lot of enjoyments to share in Nigeria.
Of course.
Today being 001 2026.
Yes, of course. We'll dive into that at the appropriate time.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Now let's move over to the newspapers for today, starting from The Nation paper that says in the major headline, new tax laws will bring prosperity. And also on the Punch headline says, 2026 outlook, Tinubu pledges strong economic rebound. And on the Vanguard paper, it says 2026 marks more robust phase for economic growth, Tinubu. And then on the Guardian headline says, Tinubu promised better economy security amid opposition knocks. And then, we're also still on the news, Obi's defection opens battle for ADC tickets with Atiku. And our paper today will be starting from the Punch newspaper that says 2026 outlook, Tinubu pledges strong economic rebound. Now President Bola Tinubu has struck an optimistic tone for 2026, promising Nigerians a strong economic rebound. He points to ongoing reforms in taxation, foreign exchange and investment policies as foundations for recovery. The president assures that the toughest phase is easing and that improved jobs, production and purchasing power are on the horizon.
All right, that's on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
Yes.
And, you know, it's good and encouraging to hear from Mr. President when he speaks to these issues. And today being the 1st of January 2026, the President has come up to reassure the nation that yes, as a nation, we are moving in the right direction, that the outlook for 2026 will be far better than 2025. And that, like I did say, is quite reassuring coming from the number one citizen of the nation, Mr. President himself, the first image maker of the nation, the economic driver of our economic and foreign policy outlook. And he is speaking, telling us that in 2026 he intends to drive inflation downwards, you know, further than it is as we experienced in 2025, strengthening foreign reserve and sustaining the GDP growth as we've seen in over 2025. In fact, in general, Mr. President is telling us to be hopeful that the renewed hope, you know, will be more outlandish and, you know, wearing a better outlook coming into 2025. And he cites the robust position of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, you know, that gained 48.12% gain in 2025, consolidating on the bullish run that has been experienced since Mr. President came into power in 2023. You know, having cited all that, Mr. President is telling us that his economic team, that his government will do everything necessary to reposition Nigeria in this very year 2026. But having said all that, before I begin to give my personal opinion on the Nigerian economy and the outlook in 2026, which will enter today, bearing in mind a lot of issues, you know, that helped in shaping the economy in 2025. Let me bring Mr. Goodhope into the conversation. Yeah. You've heard from Mr. President, and then the encouragement, the hope that he's giving Nigerians going and coming into 2026, starting from today. What's your perception on that message from Mr. President?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sai. Well, looking at what's going on from what Mr. President have said, I will tell you that Mr. President, from my own side, I will see him as the number one citizen who has the interest of the citizens in his heart. And I will tell you for a fact that, like I said the other day, Mr. President has really worked hard on the economy, even though we may not have seen the progress yet as we ought to. But I will tell you that just this past Yuletide season that we had, of course, transportation and other things were kind of high, But we had other things that were not happening over the years. We had the rice coming down, the price of rice coming down. There was no scarcity of cash like we used to happen other years. And like I always say that if development doesn't come to the common man, and it does not come to the common man faster, it is going to be a problem to the government, because the common man is the one who will support the government. And from what Mr. President has said this morning, and giving the Nigeria's economic face a renewed hope, and looking at the tax and the things that he has introduced from July last year, talking about the reforms of the local government and the state government, separating the accounts for the local government and state government, of course, let local government be their own, have their own autonomy, where they can function and receive their allocations directly. Looking at that too, you are going to see that he is trying to touch down to the government of the grassroots. And I always say this, and I will say it again, that the government that we celebrate, or the government that we want, is the government of the grassroots. Because the government of the grassroots is the support of the major government. So he is looking out to ensure that the local government chairman, all over the 774 local governments we have across Nigeria, that they, have a separate system of operation, not separate, of course, but in their finances, so that a proper account will be given and be taken. Now that's a progress. Of course, it's a law signed into it. It was signed into law July last year. I wanted to say this year, but last year, and so far we have not seen it swinging into action. But we believe that before the year runs out, before 2020 runs out, that all the state governments will take up that initiative and do as Mr. President and as the court has given their injunction. Of course, it was a court injunction. Now, looking at what he said this morning concerning the economy and the GDP, and also the tax reforms that we have 4 tax reforms, and from his aspect, we are seeing that his interest is to build and get Nigeria back to where, or not even just back, but to the winning ways of the economy. Now, strengthening the GDP by introducing investors, bringing in investors into the system to invest and create employment opportunities. These are the things that we expect the president to actually bring into our society and the culture of the economy. And also looking at this, you will see that Mr. President has the Nigeria's growth at heart. Well, I would say that being a president itself is not easy, even though there are places where we could point fingers at. From my own point of view, I think we are faced with the positivity of 2026 as an economy which is not just growing, but will be thriving in 2026. And that's actually what I've seen his comments for the new year. I've really seen it, and I believe we're going to see the result and the outcome before the year runs out. He's really pushing and trying to do his best, even in the society where we exist.
All right, very well said. And then looking into the speech of Mr. President, where he's reassuring the nation, the intent, I would say, is quite commendable. And every government will always talk about, moving the nation forward, advancing economically, and like he has mentioned about driving inflation down, strengthening foreign direct investment. Having said all that, which we expected, and you did mention, we know that the price of staple food did at the end of the day start coming down after the removal of first subsidy. When Mr. President assumed office, we weren't expected immediate impact from that removal of subsidy on the economy. But instead of the positive impact, we start complaining about the increased suffering of the populace. Then, when the price of these staple foods started coming down, we equally commended Mr. President and celebrated his policies. But beyond that, we're expecting, as Mr. President has said, that in 2026 that this government will begin to get a lot of its fundamentals right, in the sense that there will be direct impact on the lives of the people, going beyond what we're witnessing, but being able to sustain the prices that are coming down. Because like you did mention, the emphasis when we talk about the economy and its impact, the center should be the common people, the impact of on the generality of Nigeria. While I do not disagree on the efforts of Mr. President and the government, I want to raise certain questions which I expected Mr. President to speak directly into when he is talking about moving the economy forward in 2026. And these questions are, which I expected answers to, are how many direct foreign investments were attracted into Nigeria in the year 2025, and what is the outlook going forward in 2026. And I dare everybody to go back and check from the period of President Olusegun Obasanjo. You will see that there were tremendous impact from his 2 years in office, going forward. And moving from there, you look at the outlook when the short stint of Umar Musa Yar'Adua, do you understand? You will see the outlook as well was very positive. Talk about direct foreign investment into the nation. And then moving forward to the era of President Goodluck Jonathan, if you go check, do a little research, the numbers are there, and I expect Mr. President to give us the number in this hour when we're moving into 2026 proper. That would breed more confidence in the people. I bet the fact that we understand that there are a lot of factors that culminated to impact the economy negatively. Talk about security, for instance, where we've seen the nation fighting insurgents, where some territories of this nation, I would say, became an ungoverned state. Why do I say they are ungoverned state? Because when you see a bandit or terrorist beginning to take taxes or protective fee from the people for them to be able to access and move about their vicinity, it becomes an ungoverned state, because the government really have serious impact in those places. And this insecurity began to affect, agricultural production in 2025. Now, while we question these issues, we expect a more robust approach, especially being that we are told that the government is now collaborating with the United States government to tackle insecurity, and we are seeing that the Nigerian efforts are stepping up and the ground troops are beginning to mop up the insurgents. You understand? So we're expecting that there will be a continued sustenance of that tempo, to see that the issue of insecurity, if brought to a barest minimum, with the 2026, like he is projecting into, will wear a better outlook moving forward. But beyond that, another issue that we should equally pray for stability, though you've come at it from the perspective of tax, in starting from today, we're expecting the tax reforms, the tax bill to be of effect. And one of the issues here is the 5% petroleum tax, which every Nigerian is meant to pay. And a lot of individuals are come to speak about this issue of taxation, which we will equally look at. But we expect that Mr. President, that their approach, should be the people-centered. Look at the impact of these policies on the generality of Nigerians, to the line of action that will have direct positive impact, uplifting a lot of people out of poverty, which I believe should be what the government should center on, and not a tokenism or handout economy where we tend to want to, say we're uplifting people from poverty or giving handouts to the poorest of the poor in the society, which even as at present, we do not know the yardstick or the data at which such such data is arrived at, where we begin to classify some people as the poorest of the poor. Because when I ask question, I have never received such money, and I do not know of any neighbor or in person who receives such token. And moving away from that, in 2026, my take is that, yes, I am happy when the president did tell the subnationals that they should, wet the grass more. But beyond wetting the grass more, what are the things on ground to sustain the grass being wet?
Okay.
consistently? These are the questions that we should be, giving answers to in 2026. I do not expect a political wetting of ground. I expect to see fundamentals that will drive and help more industries, to spring forth more in 2026 if the issues of insecurity is tackled. Now, talking about foreign exchange, yes, this government would celebrate and will celebrate with them the fact that they've been able to sustain foreign exchange, to a very stable rate so far that one can be able to project, and go into business knowing that, okay, by the time I go into importation, for example, that I am not going to import at a certain rate, and by the time the goods arrives into the nation, either the foreign exchange may have nosedived or increased further. There's a little bit of stability in that, but we're expecting that going into 2026, that it should be more stable, and the government should work geared towards even bringing it further down in 2026. That in itself will help the economy generally going forward into 26. Having said all that, I conclude by saying that personally I'm excited that Mr. President is talking about this, but beyond rhetorics, let there be actionable plans to see that these things are actualized, and that the common man on the street feel the impact positively.
Of course, that's it.
All right, thank you very much for that. And now let's move over to the news today, which is Obi's defection that opens battle for ADC tickets with Atiku.
All right, we'll talk about the issue of P2B defecting to it's not a question of defection, right? It's not defection in itself, but this is him stepping properly into the coalition, because we are told it's a coalition. And when I listened to Mr. P2B, recently when he was having a convergence with his core supporters, the obedient, he tried clarifying that it wasn't an issue of defecting or moving into ADC, that he has been there from the onset, being that they went into a coalition. This is a coalition of various individuals who agreed to come together under ADC but remained at their various political party. But what we witnessed yesterday is that he has come out, because there's been a lot of speculation as to the direction that he would move to. Even while I interacted with the retired, His Grace, the retired Archbishop of the Enugu Anglican Diocese, he did mention that when he had a conversation with Mr. P2B, that he cannot fathom the direction Mr. P2B is towing, in terms of political party affiliation, and then given that there seems to be an onslaught against opposition political parties in Nigeria, where we've seen that there's no vibrant opposition political party, about the movement that we witnessed yesterday in ADC. So what happened yesterday, that Mr. P2B has taken a stand to go into the ADC full time, severing every ties with the Labour Party. Bearing in mind that he is the he was the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in 2023, and then having taken that stand, one thing that is quite obvious yesterday is the individuals that were with him yesterday. When we were saying there were speculations that who are the individuals going to move to ADC with him, being that the governor of Abia State, who is a strong ally, has said he will remain in the Labour Party, that he's not moving to any other political party as at this moment. So yesterday, seeing the likes of former Deputy Speaker, the former governor of Imo State as well, because he did have a stint, Ihedioha, right? And then seeing Senator Enyine Baribe, Senator Ume, and many other big ways, and the ADC party chairman was equally on hand, I should say, to encourage and receive him properly into their fold. But that in itself has raised other issues, amongst political analysts and politicians in the nation, and most especially the government of APC. The spokesperson of Mr. President, Bayo Ononuga, has been restless since this news broke. He has sent a lot of tweets, targeting the person of Mr. P2B, and I have seen the Minister of Aviation, sending out a number of tweets telling you that the APC, as a political party, are equally taking note that yes, Mr. P2B had made a move which a lot of individuals have been waiting for, and more importantly is the fact that he's gone in to meet other big political bigwigs, like the likes of Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amechi is there, El-Rufai is equally there, and people are speculating as to what will be the outcome of this coalition of these men, coalescing into ADC, where like Bayo Ononiga and the FCT minister and the aviation minister, kept taking jabs at P2B for finally, or what they say is deceiving his supporters by not outrightly coming to tell them that he has agreed to be a vice to Atiku Abubakar. But if you listen to P2B himself, one thing he made clear yesterday is that the fight to rescue Nigeria in 2027 is on, and that all hands needs to be on deck. Having said that, one thing that is certain is that the men in ADC are ready to give APC a run for their money in 2027 election. Whoever will be the flag bearer of the party as at this moment, we cannot tell you that. That's quite certain about that. But the battle for the ticket of ADC, whichever way they want to do it, one thing is certain, that whoever emerges from this very party or whatever is going on in ADC at this moment is rattling the ruling party. Because like I did mention, if you go by the number of tweets, from the handlers of Mr. President, talk about the Bayo Ononoga, you will see that yes, APC is rattled by this very movement, especially given the caliber of individuals who have moved with him. And then that's where, when we begin to analyze this movement as at yesterday, it signals a positive outlook for the nation come 2027. Bear in mind that we've been talking about the fear of a one-party state in Nigeria, being that there's been no viable opposition in Nigeria. What we've had is pockets of individual opposition, which is not enough as to when political parties come to be a serious opposition. You know what the nature of PDP at the moment. We can't say that there is a PDP as we stand at the moment. We have individuals who are battling and fighting for the soul of the PDP. The bigwigs in PDP, former allies turning serious enemies at the moment. Fighting for their selfish, not selfish now, for their personal interest. It's not safe because it's their personal interest. But one thing is certain, that their ambition at the moment no longer align. Speaking to the former G5 governors who came together to work for the emergence of this government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But as we have it today, Makinde and Wike are no longer seeing eye to eye with one another. Makinde thinks that the position of Wike is not tenable, that is in itself is destructive to the aim and goal of the PDP as is constituted at the moment. But many has accused him of wanting to use the PDP to realize his own personal ambition. But that's what political parties are meant for, and everybody is allowed to have ambition. But fair to Mr. Wike, he has from day one told everyone that he would stop at nothing to battle anyone who wants to challenge Mr. President come 2027. Having said all that, it now brings one thing to mind, that Nigeria before yesterday, lacked a credible opposition. But it still stands to be seen what the movement of Mr. P2B would mean to the opposition, if that will recalibrate the ADC, to become more vibrant, because it's expected that when Mr. P2B moves, all his followers, talk about the obedient movement, will automatically, move into ADC. You remember what happened with Labour Party in 2023, when Mr. P2B from nowhere declared for an unknown Yes, little unknown political party, Labour Party, 6 to 7 months, 7 to 6 months into the election. Many never gave them a chance. Many never expected them to make any meaningful impact going into that very election. But be that as it may, we saw them spring up, go into action, and they did indeed shook the nation, being that a relatively unknown political party with a relatively calm Peter Obi, was able to traverse the nooks and crannies of this nation and is able to challenge the established political parties, the political bigwigs, in the sense that people never gave them chance to be able to garner up to 1 million votes, but in all, they were able to secure at least 12 states and got about 6 point something million votes, at that first attempt. That in itself speaks a lot of volume to to the obedient movement, has been no jokers, even when they were dismissed as 4 persons in the room, right?
Yes, yes. Well, okay, well, looking at the obedient movement and from the ADC's point of view, yesterday at the launch of where P2B declared its interest as the as part of ADC, you would see something very important, something very, very important. You will see that he has come to make it clear to the world, just like the jibes that were thrown at him by Festus Keyamo and Bayo Nanuga, the jibes that were thrown at him, that he has been confusing, or he has been, trying to play on the democratic interests of the people. You will see that there's nothing about these things that you can, write home or don't write home about. At the end of the day, you will notice that Mr. P2B, when he is the one, I would say, who is in charge of the youths, who has the interest, we will say he has the interest of the youths in the economy and in the country. Now, let me tell you something from this point of view that we're talking about. When Obedient Movement came out, when he declared his interest as the presidential candidate for Labour Party before the elections, from when you were saying these things, I can recall what happened. Everyone was just tired of the government. Every young person was just tired of the government. I knew people that, as the election did not turn out the way they wanted, they had to, do something that you would never even expect anybody to do. So that was, I can tell you that was the moment, that was the height, the moment almost everybody in Nigeria was expecting a change that we were thinking we deserve. But at the end of the day, it did not work out. Now, Peter Obi declaring his interest yesterday at Nike Lake Resorts. You mentioned the people who came to support him, and also the people who are part of the ADC already, just like the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. He is also in ADC. He welcomed him, and he, gave him his words and flowers, we could say. But talking about the presidency and how ADC will function, who will take on the presidential role, who will pick up that form and go and represent the people in ADC, I will tell you that you cannot tell for now, because ADC, looking at the coalition, what they are having, I could tell you they are having more of older people who are more matured in politics, people who are older in politics, people who are more sensitive to the political system that we have been operating. You see, Senator Yinaya Abaribe, a lot of them that came yesterday were more, you could say that these people have that experience in politics. And I will tell you that ADC is going to really do a lot to try and unseat the current APC ruling system, because I will tell you that ADC, from their own perspective, they are going into the same way Labour Party went. They are moving into the same era Labour Party has gone. And I will tell you, once Peter Obi is there, the youths will basically tilt towards that party. It does not matter, because we as youths, as young people, we are always hoping for the best for our country and the economy. So every young people, P2B, any party he joins, P2B represents the young person, the young president that we are expecting. So in our mind, we're like, okay, we could look at this person and we could go for him. So ADC, I will tell you, is going to make a lot of mark. So far.
All right. Let's at this moment, let's take a look at that event that took place yesterday in Enugu State.
Dr. Yunusa Tanko. Thank you, Yunusa Tanko. With your obedient movement, we know what you can do. Having taken this, I don't think we will have to waste more time, because Senator Ben Obi has said it clearly, and that's what we want to hear. That His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi I have to flow from his speech so that we'll save time. He concluded that after all the consultations, that this group met and agreed that wherever P2B goes to is the platform all of us will go to. Is that not what we agreed? So on that note, we have to give him the chance now.
Thank you. Let me start by just recognizing some of our distinguished leaders that are here. I have to recognize the party chairman, our own dear senior brother, distinguished Senator David Ma. Recognize the chairman of our occasion and our dear father, Chief Simon Okeke, and all the elders that are here, because all the ex-governors here, apart from maybe my junior brother Emeka, and all my seniors, let me say on all protocols very respectfully and duly observed. It's true, there's two juniors there. So let me recognize all of them and set all protocols very duly observed. Today is an important day. Today is the last day of 2025. So we are ending this year with a hope that in 2026, we will begin a journey of rescue of our country. For proper socio-economic development that will be unifying and inclusive. We have all watched those who benefited from our democracy sometimes now become accessories to destroying our democracy, either through coercion and gangsterism against the opposition. We cannot allow this to happen. We will resist it. We've now seen people who benefited in our democracy be part of celebrating electoral fraud publicly. And we are saying that those who are planning to rig the election in Nigeria come 2027, we will resist it by every means lawful and legitimate. And we are urging this happen because we have weak institutions like ANEKE, which we are urging them in the coming election. We must do whatever it is to follow the rules and the regulation, starting by educational qualification for eligibility to come sit for any election. We can no longer be where they are asking whether this person went to school or not. We have 1 year now to determine who went to school and who didn't go to school. We have 1 year now for people to tell us the school they attended. And when they left those schools, we don't want it to be something we go to court after election. They say it's pre-election matter. We have pre-election situation now to verify everybody who wants to contest the election for Nigeria. And we must follow that. Our commitment is about.
So, having listened to Mr. Peter B yesterday, where he took a stand with the ADC, now we know where Mr. Peter B belongs. When we are addressing of the ADC. He has severe ties with the Labour Party, and from all he said, we'll see that he is prepared, and he has gone ahead to prepare further to challenge the sitting APC. Yes, he's getting more prepared. But one thing, like Mr. Goodhope did bring to our notice, is that at this very point, we do not know who will be the flag bearer of the ADC. Yes. But one thing is that the gentlemen, all of them, what thing that is obvious is that they've come together to let the generality of Nigerians know that APC need to be challenged come 2027, and that is quite important to the generality of Nigerians, that will have a viable opposition in Nigeria, which is what every Nigerian is clamoring for. How that will come about, we do not know. A lot of analysts has gone ahead to say yes, that this very movement has rattled APC, and they intend that the P2B group and the ADC will correct all the anomalies of 2023, being the mistakes that were made in Labour Party and the mistakes of the PDP of the past, that all be corrected in ADC, and they have a unified front going forward into 2027 election. A lot of issues, a lot of political issues will be determined in 2026, and the year has started very well, or ended very well, for the ADC. We expect more from them, and we expect a robust politicking competition, a government that would let the opposition thrive more in 2026. And that is it on this issue, Debbie.
Thank you very much for that. And now that is all for today's newspaper review on Sunrise on ANEKE TV. Please do not forget that you could grab your physical copies from any of your favorite vendor, or catch the e-paper online for more broad information. And also do not forget to tag us across our social media platforms across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X, all at ANEKE TV. Now up next is our sport updates.
All right, today in sports, yesterday's AFCON, that wrapped up the matches yesterday. We had, like I told you, Cameroon and their opponent. They played yesterday. Cameroon won. Now, I'm just going to make this very clear that there's a lot of things going on in the AFCON. We may not have seen the football sides, but there's a lot of fun side going on in the AFCON. Now, yesterday, the Super Eagles players were kind of mocking Samuel Chukwueze on the way he played the free kick he played. But that aside, let's talk about that Nigeria has been drawn in the AFCON. In their round of 16 match, they have been drawn with Mozambique. Yes, after they played their match yesterday, look at it, road to the final. They were drawn with Mozambique, and Algeria were drawn with DR Congo, and Morocco was drawn with Tanzania. South Africa was drawn with Cameroon. Now, looking at this list already, you're going to see that Cameroon and South Africa are the major contenders of this AFCON, because Cameroon may not have been playing so well because they have played 2 draw games so far, and they just won this game that qualified them into the round of 16. So them playing South Africa has been a wonderful team, a spectacular strike, and they have been doing amazing. So we're going to see that this match is not going to be, at the end of the day, either South Africa or Cameroon. It's so sad that it is either South Africa or Cameroon that will go. Now, moving up a bit, Ivory Coast is drawn with Burkina Faso. Egypt is drawn with Benin Republic, and Senegal drawn with Sudan, and Mali with Tunisia. Yesterday's match, we had Cote d'Ivoire side coming back to winning the game yesterday. They have already scored, the team they were playing has already scored 2 goals, and they had to come back and score 3 goals. So you will see the road to the final. Yes, the same thing I was telling you about. So they came back and scored 3 goals. That was a great comeback. But we're going to see that as the sports progresses today, and I'm going to give you details and more in sports. Thank you very much.
All right, and thank you for those updates. And at the moment, let's take a look at how the world ushered the new year 2026.
timini dana wana.
Yes, Happy New Year to all of us in the world. The world celebrated ushered a new year in a very celebratory mode.
Yeah.
But for me, more interesting is the guy at the battlefront, the guys at the theater, you know, ushering the new year with those gun truck, you know, action. And you hear them at the battlefield saying Happy New Year. For me, that marks, you know, the very mood in going into 2026. What did you take away from?
Well, I also like the last video where we watched of Nigeria, and I'm like, Nigeria, we don't carry last.
We are outside.
Yes, we are outside. We are outside.
Nigeria, they show we are outside.
We're outside, yeah.
Yes, you know. Happy New Year to everybody.
Yeah,
Happy New Year to everybody. We are in 0101 2026. 2026. Don't take us back. I remember because you say don't make New Year resolution, so you don't.
I'll get used to it.
Excuse me, don't make New Year
I don't make New Year resolution.
So
why don't you make New Year
resolutions? It's a waste
resolutions?
of time. I see people
why
that
is it
make
a waste
New
of time?
No, you know why it's a waste of time? It's a mental state, I will tell you.
Okay.
It's actually a mental state because if you have made over the years and nothing came out of it, you would not want to make again. It's just a mental state. I'm gonna fix that as the mechanic.
Now you're a mechanic.
You're not a mechanic. You're a mental mechanic.
You see, I'm the commissioner of enjoyment.
Well, you know, most people make
Mm-hmm.
New Year resolution, but then that first of the New Year, you don't stick to it.
Well, like just talk about this
So
yesterday.
do you call it mental?
Well, I will tell you what it is. You know, people say I'm not gonna get drunk, like we were talking about the other day. They are not gonna drink. Then they will start the new year not drinking, not over drinking, but they have taken some. Now, what we will say is that is a psychological issue. I would say it's purely psychological because what you want to start in the year, you start it in the previous year. That's how it works. The things I wanted to start in 2026, I started it in 2025.
Okay.
So I tried to start before the new year so that my brain will count it as days going by, not the new year coming by.
Okay, so what's your New Year resolution?
My New Year resolutions are very simple. Just life, ministry, and school, just furthering my stuffs, getting more certifications, getting into a lot
to
of
work
other
on
things.
yourself then.
You know, Debbie, the only way I have issue is that JP Morgan will disagree with you. Going down our code this morning, yes, he will vehemently disagree with you. You know, taking a look at our code this morning, he says the first step towards getting somewhere is to decide you are not going to stay where you are. And when you talk about New Year resolution, don't just see it as New Year resolution. That's why you see them as not feasible or achievable. See them as setting goal.
Okay.
And for me, it's an issue if you don't set a goal going into the new year. And what are the goals that could be set? For me, is that I had to improve in 2026. And improvement could be that I sleep too much in 2025.
You sleep too much?
Yeah, so I want to, be able to be more productive in 2026. So therefore, I have to cut the hours of sleep. I have to come to work early. Wear a positive outlook in 2026. So set goals, but do not set goals that are not attainable. It's when you set goals that are not attainable, you now begin to say that your New Year resolution, there's no need. So set attainable goals and start from the little. Then you get to the major. And that's what JP Morgan is reminding you this morning. You have to what? Set goal. It's important to set goals. Set target.
At least this you have a New Year resolution. Say set goals. So
that's a New Year resolution. Set goals for the year. Don't set goals like me or the what you call the New Year resolution like I did that year when I said I'm no longer going to eat meat, because I'm meat eater itself. So I've not seen anybody in the world who adores and eats meat like me. So when I made that New Year resolution,
so you're talking about the world.
I've not met anybody in the world.
He hasn't met anybody.
I'm yet to meet
there
anybody.
Are people, but he hasn't
you
met
know,
them.
Don't worry, on another day, it's just, I'll give you the story where I used to meet somebody. Our meeting point is in the kitchen by 12 midnight.
Among them.
Either when he's going in, I'm coming out, or when I'm coming out, he's going in. Okay. There's always a meeting point, and on the wife's pot of meat. So, and in the morning they will be like, this meat, who took this choice part of meat? And both of us will keep quiet because the owner of the house is a culprit. So
who are you?
So that's it. It's part of the things you expect, coming into a new year.
Well,
and happily,
talking about 2026 and the goals too. Deborah said that she's not a goal set. Sorry, she's not a New Year resoluter. But I can tell you that you can try 2026.
You say a New Year resoluter. Don't be a looter in 2026. Don't be a looter in 2026.
Because as the mental mechanic, I will tell you that.
The most important thing is that the world generally ushered in the new year, happily celebrating. But if I may put a caveat to that, if we can happily, the way we usher the year, consciously work to end wars all over the world,
yes,
then 2026 will be a year for it, and I see the world achieving more peace in 2026.
All right, thank you very much for that. Well, happy new year to the world once again. Happy new year to Nigeria. Happy new year, Cool City, and everybody watching. And also do not forget that this is Sunrise on ANEKE TV, where every sunrise starts with a delightfulness and joy. And also do not forget that you can follow us across our social media handles: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all at ANEKE TV, or call our phone number 070-304-37110. I'm Deborah Wakaba.
And thank you, Mr. Good Hope, the man with many parts, the man of many parts rather, the mental mechanic, another lexicon, mental mechanic, the sports oracle, and the commissioner of enjoyment. Thank you for joining us on Sunrise this morning. And I'm Uche Osai. Remember, you're not here to be average. Be unique in 2026. Keep watching ANEKE TV. It will come your way same time tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.